Good morning. This is your reading for Monday, April 7th, 2025. Boy, we've got a lot going on astrologically, so stick around for that because Mercury stationing direct. And yeah, and there's more. There's so much more. So anyway. Ooh, okay. 7 of Cups. Ace of Wands. Oops, if you look through the viewfinder here. And, 7 of Pentacles again. I like having the 7, 2 of the 7s. Yeah, I don't like 7 of Swords, but... So, the theme for the day with the Ace of Wands is go for it. It is inspirational. It is power. It is creative power, new beginnings, and so much potential. And with the 7 of Cups in the morning, there might be so much energy going on that you might have trouble deciding on what to pay the most attention to. So the guidance is really simple with the 7 of Pentacles is to focus on the most important things, the things that will bring you a good return of, the investment of your energy. Saturn and Taurus will always teach us that. Saturn is about mastery, bringing things into form. Taurus is all about self-preservation and security and faithfulness to our principles. And it's most of all groundedness, that need especially for peacefulness. And we don't really get that unless we stay grounded, right? So directing the energy into all the projects that are the most important to you is the thing to get done by the end of the day. So make wise choices in the morning is the best thing I could say about that 7 of Cups. Don't let yourself get distracted, pulled away in any type of, like fantasy baloney that's not going to get you anywhere. Stay really focused on allowing yourself to be inspired by your guides, and they'll always lead you in the right direction. And they'll always help you focus on, like how long? How long do I focus on this? How long do I work on this project? Okay, let's look at the astrology, because the tarot is super easy there. I set the chart for 4:01 a.m. because that's when Venus conjuncts Saturn exactly. So when I say conjunct, it means joined with. So here we have Venus and Saturn both at 25 degrees 15 minutes. Let me do this for a little bit. Just for a second. Well, more than a second, but there we go. Now you can see the tightest orbs. So we have 3 trines to Mars. And these are approaching trines because Venus, the energy's stronger when it's approaching rather than waning. So with Venus going direct, so Mercury stations direct, Venus, we have so much going on today. Let me just stick with Venus first, otherwise you guys will get confused, I think. Just remember, Venus is about what we value. In Pisces, it's our spiritual path, it's our compassion with others, it's the need to take self-responsibility, not be victimized or go into victimhood by allowing our energy to be all over the place. Now, the cards definitely spoke to that. Even though this is Venus and Scorpio, Scorpio is really good about focusing in on the most important things. So Venus is there to help us figure out what we value most. And with the sextile, the double sextile down here, exactly to Uranus in Taurus, we're in that realm of, because Venus rules Taurus, we're in that realm of waking up, feeling enlightened, feeling like, okay, because we've got the change agent here that's helping us go for what we want. And Uranus is direct as well. But so Venus that's joined up with Saturn is helping us figure out like what's important for now, because Saturn is all about that wall that just sits there and you have to work around it to see like, is this really what I want? That's what the Seven of Pentacles is all about. Do I really want to work that hard on whatever that project is? Do I want to stick with it, or do I want to go towards something else? Well, the 3 trines to Mars in Cancer will help us decide as well, because Mars in Cancer can really help an intuitive flow come into your actions moving forward. And then if that's not enough, we have Ceres exactly squaring Jupiter, which can be sometimes too much information when it's Jupiter combined with Gemini, because, Jupiter's all about expansion, and sometimes it's excessive information. So again, go back to Seven of Pentacles. Is this what I really want to focus on? And then that power that you have to do that. Just remember, you have that power. So when it comes to the other, well, yeah, I think that I've covered that square. That's good enough there. This other square is going to be here for quite some time, so I'm just going to let that go for today so that the reading doesn't get too long. But we also have this inconjunct from the moon to Ceres. Now, Ceres, remember, is everything to do with the things that we protect and nurture. Okay, the things in the beloved people and animals in our lives, people and pets. The inconjunct brings in the need for an adjustment, and it's because the moon in Leo is much more open to that big, we're at a place where because we've had the opposition to Pluto yesterday, and we're coming off of that, and now we're in that stage of learning lessons because the moon's in the second decan of the sign. So we're learning as to more ways we can be empowered, self-empowered, and empower each other. And we're applying that to the people and the pets and the food and the things and all the stuff that we need to pay attention to. And Ceres is also the planet that rules all the the transitions that women go through with our reproductive systems. And we've been learning how we've been cut off from that. Doesn't matter at all if you're well past childbearing years. If there's not a good hospital nearby and you need a hysterectomy, you could be screwed because of the government, of course, right? So those issues are definitely back up on the table where they need to be, and they're just not going to ever be off until the issue's resolved. So with Venus and Saturn together exactly, and the triple trines down to Mars ruling, like the families and people moving forward and their money, and are they safe and are they secure? And of course, Saturn being government, and we're talking trade wars. Mars is about wars. Are the trade wars? What about the food? What about food supplies? What about... And people are thinking all kinds of things, have been learning about all kinds of new things all weekend. And here we are Monday morning with the exact conjunction, and nobody's getting away from it. So I don't know if this might be, like Trump may decide to not do the tariffs. We'll see. I mean, he flounders around like a fish constantly. His brain is just all over the place. But they are testing Saturn testing their limits as to what the people will allow. Remember that. Okay, so now also today, besides Venus exactly conjunct Saturn, we have Mercury moving out of the retro shade. Here, I'll change it to hours. It happens, I think I forget if it's 5 something, whatever, but you can see Mercury now is stationing direct. I moved it forward an hour. I think it's actually it was only 7 minutes. It's 4:08 a.m. that Mercury stations direct. And the reason I don't make a big deal about it is because we're still in the retro shade until April 26th. So, it's pretty much like all month. But it's, the the communication challenges will back off because it's waning and we are moving, out of the shade. So let's see. Notice how, so here's the most important things with the backdrop. Well, it's all important right now. I mean, my goodness, the sun's getting closer and closer to Chiron. Whew. When it comes to independence, people wanting independence and some, tribe to belong to, well, we got to belong to ourselves first, otherwise we're no good to our tribes. But interdependence is a really important thing to remember. All humans are interdependent on each other, and that will continue to be the lesson for the next 20 years with Pluto in Aquarius, because it is the power of the people coming together and networking. And so besides Venus, Saturn, notice how Saturn moved, well, it's like, did Venus go backwards or did Saturn go forward? But it's by 1 minute. Within an hour or 1 minute, where now Saturn's on this side. Venus is still in a little bit of the retrograde there, because Venus doesn't go direct until April 12th, I think. Yeah, it's April 12th. I don't know what time right now, but I'll let you know later. Doesn't matter. For today anyway. So now Mercury and Saturn Mercury moves so fast it's going to hit the North Node more, and then we're just going to be hanging out as time goes by. Of course, Venus, Saturn, and Ceres are all going to move into Mercury, Venus, and Ceres are going to all move into Aries and be moving forward that way. And then Saturn it'll take until May 24th before it moves into Aries. So we still have another good, more than a month there. So important thing. Oh yeah, and then we will be looking forward to Saturn conjunct Neptune. I'll talk about that later. But anywho, for today, most important is, see these 2 sextiles here to Uranus? See how Uranus is at 25 degrees of Taurus, and Venus and Saturn, of course, are at their 25 degrees. And we have these 2 sextiles. Now, sextiles are opportunities for manifestation, but it doesn't mean it just comes to you. You have to work, and that is especially true when Saturn is involved. With Venus involved, it's all about, what do you value most? Again, back to 7 of Cups. What matters to you most, right? And with this double sextile to Taurus, it's going to, it's a double whammy of what matters most to you, because Venus rules Taurus and Libra, but Venus is all about values and making comparison values. Seeing the big picture of the future in Pisces, and then bringing it into everyday values. What makes me feel the most secure? What do I need to feel secure? best as you can as a human being, which is not easy on planet Earth. It ain't easy being human. I sound like Kermit the Frog. It ain't easy being green, right? Anyway, okay, so Uranus is the Great Awakener. It's the change agent. It's the planet that rules Aquarius up here, of which Pluto is involved. And so it's literally the ability with Taurus, with Venus and Taurus, and I'm sorry, Uranus and Taurus and Venus and Pisces. It's literally the ability to reinvent yourself based on, reinvent Uranus, reinvent yourself based on what really, really matters to you. So that's probably why we have the Ace of Wands for today, because there's that reinventive, raw power of, hey, wait a minute, I could do things differently now that I know what I really want. And then following through with all of that power would be phenomenal. And because it's going to build. Because remember, Saturn it will eventually make it into Aries, and then it's a whole new experience. So for now, it's about deepening our self-responsibility to be on our spiritual path and go in the direction we're meant to go. We're not meant to flounder around. We're not meant to be all over the place and feeling like a victim. We're meant to be compassionate and sensitive and intuitive and open up to all the goodness and the love and the light that's in the world, and then move forward with that. And that's how we grow. That's the lesson of Mars and Cancer. It's about growth. The growth of our souls, the growth of our souls opening up to our spirits and letting their spirits guide us. That's the lesson with Neptune newly into Aries. So, because look, we've got all the fire signs here wrapped up in the Ace of Wands. This is the card that opens up this season. This is the 0 degrees Aries. That's this card. So yeah, and then anyway, Aries, Leo, Sag. It's that kind of fiery day to get things going. Get things going. Have courage and speak up, and move in that spiritual direction for yourself. So yeah, all the other aspects are the same, but if I go back to, let's see, yeah, because Jupiter, oh wait, this one's new, hold on. Jupiter at the point of the 2 sextiles between the sun and the moon, woo, okay, this is possibly some information that comes out, some leaks out of, the dirty governmental politician players. That was redundant, wasn't it? But anyway. Information might be a little too much to handle, and maybe that is another reason why we had the 7 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, right? Might be a little too much taking it all in. So take in whatever you can, but if you're feeling stressed out or like there's any anxiety, just keep coming back to yourself with the sun and the moon and Jupiter as well. So Jupiter's holding the space for healing. With Gemini, it's the way we communicate, it's the way we think, it's the way we open to each other and gather information with each other and share information with each other. And all 3 of these planets, well, 2 luminaries and the 1 planet, Jupiter, are at the second decan, where we are in well, we're almost to the deepening place, but we're at the deepening of the learning lesson stage here. And that's a lot of power with these 2 fire signs and the air sign, because fire and air are compatible. Surprised we didn't get the 8 of Wands for today. So, but anywho, let's go to the standard set so you can see. I wanted to show you see how we have the sextiles. There's more than just the two. There's actually, there's actually 4 coming down to Uranus. So this is a lot of power in the ability to reinvent yourself based on the principles you have in life. And some people, they don't even think that way. They'll invest money in anything that makes them money. They see money just the means to an end, and there's no integrity about it. But we're not meant to do that anymore. When we've got Venus conjunct Saturn and we've been going back and forth with this, all I can say is some people have to learn the hard way. Now, what I really wanted to focus on here by bringing in the standard aspects where the orbs aren't so tight, but they're tight enough. Sorry, my stomach is growling. But anyway, Uranus trine over here to the south node of the past, where all the facts have been sitting. Just the facts, ma'am, over here. This aspect here, these 4 sextiles. Actually, it's really 5. Yeah. 5 sextiles and the trine over here. This is an aspect of the architect, which is a building aspect. Again, you got to work for it. But it's here, and it's here geared towards freedom and liberation. What was Trump saying? Like it's going to be, the tariffs are going to be liberation. Well, I hope he's liberated from his job. But it's not even a real job. He's out golfing. So, anyway, this is about invention. This is about, like I said, reinventing ourselves. This is about having more, a higher level of reasoning abilities than ever before because of the sextile to the South Node in Virgo. And then all of the lessons that we've learned up here, really valuable lessons. I think by now, anybody with half of a brain or a couple of brain cells rubbing together understand that tariffs are taxes. And so if they haven't learned that yet, they will soon, or maybe not in this lifetime. That's okay. They'll get it whenever they get it. But meanwhile, again, like with that in conjunct to Ceres, there can be grief and separation there. So be gentle with I'll just say this and then close up. Be gentle with your family members who are finally waking up to reality. Don't say, I told you so, because nobody ever wants to hear that. Nobody ever wants to hear that. It's better to ask questions and like, well, how are you feeling? Or are you, or maybe they're worried about their jobs. Maybe they've lost a lot of money. Maybe they've lost retirement money. And, it's just know that when anybody's going through an emotional traumatic experience, well, any type of a traumatic experience it hits the emotional, psychological, physical, the whole thing. You have to go slow. And too much information is distracting. So it's more about holding and caring. And unless they're mean to you, if they're mean and abusive to you, then hang up the phone or end the text exchange or say goodbye. Because holding a really, really strong, firm boundary with what comes into your body and your mind, that's the real lesson here with the Pisces pile up. So yeah, okay, well that's it. Take good care. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.